Okay, once again, welcome to the general contracting business and finance portion of the exam. All right, and so here we're going to look at other licensing requirements. And you want to know what that is? Other licensing requirements 2-15. Okay, financial responsibility net worth. So here are the qualifications to get straight to the point of what's most important. You want to know you have to have a minimum FICO score of 660 or higher. And then here we're going to have public liability insurance. So what you want to know is the requirement in liability insurance is 300,000, property damage is 50,000. So I tell myself 350 because they might say, what is property damage? And you just have to remember property damage is always less than liability. Okay? And then most importantly down here, evidence of workers' compensation coverage. It is a requirement. Let's flip right back to the outside again, just so we know where we're at. We just talked about, we're getting ready to talk about continuing education. That's important. These are important things to know. So when you get your license, just like when you go to the DMV, you have to renew your license. But for construction, you must renew every 2 years. Okay, that's the most important part. 2 years. And then continue education. So as every 2 years, you have to do what is called continue education to make sure that you're up to par with new regulations, the new practices that are taking place in the industry. And so every 2 years, you're required to complete 14 hours of continuing education. And the cool thing is, instead of sitting in the classroom for 14 hours, up to 4 hours may be earned by attending a meeting of the Construction Industry Licensing Board. In other words, you sit in on one of those meetings where somebody who did something unlawfully, they literally get up to 4 hours for sitting in one of those disciplinary meetings.
We're the Board of Examiners for licensed construction contractors within the county and are responsible for contractor licenses. We are also responsible for disciplining contractors found in violation of Chapter 3-2 of the Charlotte County Code and state laws regulating the construction industry.
Okay, business records at the very bottom. Contractors license, remember Florida Statute 49, must maintain complete financial and business records kept in the regular course of business for immediately preceding 3 years. All right. And then we're going straight to licensing exemption. Okay. So I highlighted the most important things because they will try to test you and throw you off. This is important. Extremely, extremely important. So exempt. Who is exempt? And all you have to remember is the following are exempt from state licensure. They can literally do construction works without having a license. And you want to know all of these. I highlighted the most important ones that I've seen during the courses, practice questions. And the most ones that I usually see is court-appointed officers acting within the scope of their office, public utility, that's the most common one. You'll see any construction of the United States property, any construction or operation incidental to the construction or repair of irrigation. You'll see that this is the most common one that you'll see. The liquefied petroleum gas dealer, Habitat for Humanity. So you probably seen those local city advertisement where they built a home for the Henderson family. So the people that built that house came together and basically donated their time to build a home. Okay. And then another one is a maintenance employee of an apartment complex with at least 100 units. Okay. And then subcontracting requirements. The general contractor shall subcontract all electrical, mechanical, plumbing, roofing, sheet metal, swimming pool, air conditioning work unless such contractors hold the state certification or registration in the respective trade category. So, in other words, the general contractor has to delegate, aka subcontract, those following works. All right. And then talks about that more in depth. Here again, we have electrical and alarm for the sake of time. We don't want to waste time because that's not us, right? So we're on 42-20. I skipped electrical, I skipped septic, I skipped fire. Qualifying agents, that is a very, very important segment. 2-22. And so it says, or it states, registration or certification of a person who seeks to engage in contracting in his own name will be issued only to that individual. You can't share your license with Uncle Lopez, okay? I know he's been doing construction for a long time, but you just can't just share your license with them. But most importantly, the qualifying agent must be licensed as a certified or registered contractor in order for the business organization to be certified or registered in the category in which the qualifying agent is licensed. I underline this because this is very important. If the qualifying agent is the only licensed contractor affiliated with the business organization must notify DBPR of the termination of the qualifying agent and obtain another qualifying agent within 60 days. You want to know this, highlight this, breathe it, sleep it, put it under your pillow, manifest it, okay? And then it states that the business organization may not engage in contracting until another qualifying agent is employed. However, exception, unless a temporary certificate or registration is issued by DPPR. So in other words, if the qualifying agent, something happens to the qualifying agent, you must find a replacement within 60 days. And the only case in which you might be able to continue any projects that you are working on is if you have the non-renewable certificate of registration. Okay? And then down here it talks about this temporary certificate of registration shall only allow the entity to proceed with incomplete contracts. And by definition, an incomplete contract is one in which has been awarded or you've entered into by business organization prior to the qualifying agent. And then professional responsibility liability here. That's still under qualifying agent. You want to remember, if they ask you anything pertaining to the qualifying agent or professional responsibility, you know you're going to chapter 2. That's the whole concept we're discussing. Okay? And so in business entity with one qualifying agent, the qualifying agent is responsible for the supervision of all operations of the business, for all field work, all sites, unless a financial responsible officer is designated, right? And then it states, organizations with more than one qualifying agent, all qualifying agents jointly and equally share the responsibility. However, one qualifying agent may be designated as sole primary qualifying agent for the business organization. A sole primary qualifying agent is jointly and equally responsible with secondary qualifying agent for field work and supervision. Okay? And this is very important because they'll ask you questions here. A second qualifying agent is responsible only for supervision of field work at site where his license was issued or was used to obtain the building permits or any other work for which he accepts responsibility, okay? And then down here, designated financial responsible officer assumes personal responsibility for all financial aspects. Just think about it as like a money man. He's responsible for those elements.